relationship with number 7, which is the drew, which is the drift, which is fullness, the ideal, well, the ideal, if it's not overdone, or you call that 6 Oahspe, meant the create and the uz. Too much of a good thing creates poison. So, and since man is just starting off and basically for self rather than for Jehovah and darkness and so forth, that the drift that he undergoes then, he receives a fullness of evil, so to speak, or of self, and so that hastens the collapse and everything. And so 7 drew, and the explanation or the interpretation for mortals was of that aspect of this evil aspect, so to speak. When we get to number 10, that's when we will get to the sustainment of the good, but then you also have the evil corners, so to speak, and these were called the evil corners, there, and there. And these were the good sides, the good corners. Recall that number 10 then would to number 9. Number 10 would be the abstraction of number 9. It would be an O to the Ah, so it would be, number 10 would be the O to the Ah of number 9. And in other words, it would be an opposite. And so that's why on number 10 looks like that, which is complete. Then you have the good and the bad together. And we're talking about synthesis now, because remember, this whole 9 through 12 has to do with synthesis. It has to do with synthesis of the cosmos, inner and outer. Now when we went back to number 6, and we talked about that first synthesis of the inner realm and the outer realm, that the inner realm was paramount at that time. But when you get to number 9, what's paramount at that time is the synthesis of both the outer and the inner realm. So they're both of equal paramount importance. So, and that's what's being sustained. And so, and this is called Eloi in the chart of Samoin. And Eloi is the name for the Creator. Now the Creator has many hats. Just like you will be a child to some parents, so you'll have a role as being a child, and at some point your role might be a parent to children, and yet you'll still be a child to some parents. And in the same way that the Creator also has different hats, different functions, different offices, so to speak, different ways of relating to people, or that the way that people perceive the Creator. And so just like, and you have more than, just a couple different hats or offices that you have, or relationships that you have with others, but you're also a friend, and you're also a peer, perhaps an employee or an employer, a spouse. So there's a lot of different relationships, a lot of different hats, so to speak, that a person can wear, roles that they're playing. And so this is the Creator. Number 9 is the Creator laboring in the capacity of sustaining of the good, which is what the 9th condition is about. When we move on to look at number 10 then, because number 9 has set the foundation for the synthesis. And if we're one with Jehovah, if we're one with Eloi, which is another name for the Creator, an earlier name for the Creator, but also the name of the Creator that indicates his function, indicates which hat he's wearing. And that's one of the purposes of the different names of the Creator, and this can be found in Oahspe and for example, the Chava in the 3rd degree, where we learn about the different names of the Creator in the good directions, in the different directions. Eloi, number 9, which is the sustaining of the good, and is the foundation for the synthesis of the outer and the inner realm. From there we move to the introduction to an abstraction of that, to an objective view of that, in which case then you see where the good that is in a person or a social order or a nation or a family or a group, and you look at it and you see the good that's there, which is this, and then you also see the things that needs to be worked on, the things that didn't quite make it up to the mark, and imperfections of some sort. And this is good because this allows then for those who are laboring to help provide for the resurrection of others, it helps them to know what to provide, how to provide, and so forth. The name or the meaning for number 10, one of the meanings is completeness, complete. It's complete. You have essentially the completed foundation now in one, and it's interesting as well that the numeral system that we use nowadays has moved closer toward Jehovah, shall we say, toward Jehovah's reality, toward the reality of his creation. So that when we look at one as the going forth, the foundation, well, what precedes number one? Well, we're not shown anything that precedes number one in Samoyed, but we know what precedes number one from our abstract study of numbers, and it's zero. It's the naught, the nothing. But it's more than that, it's the everything as well. And essentially what zero represents is the soul. The soul, and from the soul comes the foundation. And so you have zero representing soul. But in soul is the feminine compared to the masculine, the going forth. The soul, the inner realm compared to the outer realm. And so what you have with number 10, 1, 0, is that you have the soul that comes out of the foundation. This is what is represented by number 10. The soul, which is the 0 that comes out of, follows the foundation, which is number 1. And so cycles can also be looked at in that respect. Now I might say a word here about divination. In the old days, there were many ways of divination. One of the ways of divination is you could draw cards for divination, and that was called tarot cards and other names before that, but or the roll of dice, and so-called games of chance. And really, these can be manipulated by spirits, so that a person might think that they're doing something, and actually they're doing it, and then really what they're doing is they're like in a deck of cards, and you pick out a card from the deck. You're being guided by spirit. Now, ideally, you're supposed to be guided by your own inner spirit and your inner sense of light and truth and everything, picking the right card to show your true condition. Well, that's the ideal, but in reality, who can be at their perfect tune with Jehovah in the corporeal realm as well as the inner realm at the same time? It takes a lot of work through the faithless discipline. Zarathustra was the all-pure, was pretty good. Now, he might have been able to do it fairly accurately, but anybody else who does it, well, it's not quite so straightforward.